Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to Skye. Mull was astern, rum on the port, pig on the starboard bow. Glory of youth glowed in her soul. Where is that glory now? Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to Skye.
For millions of fans around the world, Outlander brought Scotland's castles, villages, and highlands to life. But what many people don't realize is that these places are real, and you can visit them yourself. Today we're traveling across Scotland to explore the real filming locations used in this series. Previously, I had made 2 other Outlander filming location videos. Several real-life Scots made a lot of comments about my pronunciations of some of the locations I mentioned. To remedy that, I decided to create a brand new Outlander video that incorporated content from both videos into the Ultimate Outlander Tour. This time, instead of me narrating the video myself, I asked a friend from Scotland to do the honors. He will help guide us through the history and landscapes behind these incredible places and do them the justice they deserve. I'd like to introduce our storyteller for this journey, our guide through the Highlands, Duncan.
Thank you, Sean. I'm honoured to be included in this video, and I truly appreciate your love for Scotland and for the story of Outlander. Across Scotland, castles, villages, and ancient Highland landscapes became the backdrop for the extraordinary story of Jamie and Claire, and today we'll visit many of the real places where that story came to life. Our journey begins here in Edinburgh, just off the Royal Mile, in a quiet courtyard known as Tweeddale Court. This area dates back several centuries and was once part of the old Canongate district, a place where merchants, craftsmen and travellers would have passed through the narrow closes that wind their way down from the Royal Mile. Tweeddale Court itself takes its name from the Marquess of Tweeddale, whose residence once stood nearby in the 17th century. Like many corners of Edinburgh's Old Town, the courtyard still carries the atmosphere of the city's long and layered history. In Season 3, Episode 6 of Outlander, titled A Malcom, this courtyard was transformed into the streets of 18th century Edinburgh. It's here that Claire encounters Fergus for the first time since returning through the stones, a touching moment for Claire to be reunited with lost friends and family. Just a short walk from Tweeddale Court, down one of Edinburgh's narrow historic closes, we arrive at Bakehouse Close. Tucked away just off the Royal Mile, this courtyard dates back to the 16th century and was once part of a busy merchant district where tradesmen and bakers carried out their work, which is how the close earned its name. In Season 3 of Outlander, Bakehouse Close was transformed into the exterior of Jamie Fraser's print shop, where he was living under the name Alexander Malcom. It's here that one of the most beloved moments in the entire series unfolds, as Claire finally finds Jamie again after 20 years apart. Today, visitors can still stand here in the very same courtyard and imagine that remarkable reunion. For many travellers following the Outlander trail through Scotland, this quiet corner of Edinburgh is often one of the first stops on the journey. Directly across the courtyard from the print shop exterior stands another building that appears briefly in the same episode. In Outlander, this doorway was used as the exterior of a brothel, and we see Jamie Fraser stepping out into the street shortly before Claire finally finds him. Like many corners of Edinburgh's Old Town, this simple doorway helped transform the courtyard into a convincing slice of 18th century city life. Behind the scenes, transforming Bakehouse Close into 18th century Edinburgh required surprisingly little alteration. One of the reasons the Outlander production team chose this location was because the architecture here already feels remarkably authentic. The tall stone buildings, narrow cobbled passageways and weathered walls create an atmosphere that looks very much as it would have centuries ago. Of course, a few modern details had to disappear. Street signs were removed, shop fronts were dressed with period props, and the production team added barrels, carts and market goods to bring the scene fully to life. Today, visitors can wander through the very same courtyard and see exactly where these memorable scenes were filmed. For many Outlander fans planning a trip to Scotland, locations like Bakehouse Close become highlights of their journey. Just along the Royal Mile you'll find the World's End pub, a historic tavern whose name appears in the Outlander story. While the series references the location, the exterior used on screen was filmed elsewhere. It remains a favourite stop for fans exploring Edinburgh. Leaving Edinburgh behind, our journey now takes us north across the Firth of Forth to the beautifully preserved village of Culross. With its cobbled streets, whitewashed houses and steep red-tiled roofs, Culross is often considered one of the most complete historic villages in Scotland. Much of the town dates back to the 16th and 17th centuries, when it prospered as a busy trading port and centre of coal mining along the Forth. Because so much of the village remains remarkably unchanged, the producers of Outlander chose Culross to represent the fictional village of Cranesmuir. Several memorable scenes were filmed here, including moments from Claire's early days working as a healer among the villagers. Walking these streets today, it's easy to imagine life in 18th century Scotland. In fact, you can see Sean's wife and daughter walk down this very same street, following the same path Claire did in the series. Just along the street here in Culross stands the house used as Leary's home in Outlander, a character who, it's fair to say, isn't exactly a favourite among many fans. When you compare the scenes from the series with the building today, you'll notice a bit of cinematic magic at work. The production team used CGI and set dressing to transform this modest home into part of the village of Cranesmuir. Here in the centre of Culross stands the Mercat Cross, a traditional market monument that once marked the heart of trade and community life in many Scottish towns. In Outlander, Claire and Dougal Mackenzie ride past this very spot on horseback as they make their way through the village toward Gaelis Duncan's home. From the window of Gaelis Duncan's home, Claire and Gaelis watch the tension building in the village below. Soon after, a priest drags a young boy across the cobbled street and shoves him toward the door, a moment that hints at the suspicion surrounding Gaelis. While these exterior scenes were filmed here in Culross, the interior of Gaelis' home was actually filmed inside nearby Culross Palace. To transform Culross into the village of Cranesmuir, the production team temporarily painted many of the homes in darker tones, giving the streets a grittier 18th century appearance. As the tension in the village rises, Jamie Fraser arrives just in time to intervene and help the young boy who had been dragged toward Gaelis' door. But the suspicion surrounding Gaelis is only beginning to grow. Before long, this very area around the Mercat Cross was transformed by the Outlander production team into a dramatic scene, complete with a wooden pyre prepared for the burning of Gaelis, Duncan and Claire. We'll return to this powerful moment later in the video when we explore the famous witch trial scene. For centuries, the Mercat Cross marked the heart of village life here in Culross, where traders once gathered and royal proclamations were announced. Today, it's also a favourite stop for Outlander fans exploring the village. Just a short walk from the Mercat Cross brings us to Culross Palace, one of the most remarkable historic buildings in the village. Despite its name, this was never truly a royal palace. It was built in the late 16th century by the wealthy merchant Sir George Bruce, whose success in coal mining helped make Culross an important trading town along the Firth of Forth. Today the building is preserved by the National Trust for Scotland, and its distinctive yellow walls and terraced gardens make it one of the most recognisable landmarks in the village. Culross Palace was used extensively during the filming of Outlander, appearing in both exterior and interior scenes. The palace served as Bonnie Prince Charlie's military camp during the story's journey into northern England. Inside the palace, the High Hall was used for the Jacobite meeting, where Jamie Fraser swears his oath of loyalty to Prince Charles Stuart. Unfortunately, many historic sites across Scotland closed their interiors during the winter months, and Sean discovered that several castles and palaces, including this one, don't reopen to visitors until the 1st of April. It's a helpful reminder that when planning a journey to Scotland's historic filming locations, timing can make all the difference. Since Sean and his family weren't able to access the interior of Culross Palace during their visit, they made their way up the narrow stone steps beside the building to reach the terraced gardens behind the palace. From here, the view opens across one of the most beautiful historic gardens in Scotland. These gardens were used in Outlander as the exterior gardens of Castle Leoch, where Claire spends time gathering herbs and speaking with Gaelis Duncan during her early days among Clan Mackenzie. With their carefully arranged terraces, stone walls and traditional planting beds, the gardens create a setting that feels perfectly suited to the 18th century. Spring is an especially wonderful time to visit Culross Palace Gardens, when the flowers and herbs begin to fill the terraces with colour. Sean and his family arrived just as the gardens were beginning to bloom, offering a small glimpse of how spectacular this place becomes as the season unfolds. If you're planning a visit to Culross, it's wise to allow around 2 hours to explore the village, perhaps closer to 3 if you decide to stop for lunch. Our next stop brings us to Callendar House here in Falkland, a grand historic mansion whose origins stretch back to the 14th century. The kitchen inside Callendar House was used in Outlander as the kitchen of the Duke of Sandringham's residence, Belhurst Manor. It's within this very room that a pivotal moment unfolds in the story, when Murtagh discovers that the Duke was responsible for arranging the attack in Paris that led to the assault of Mary Hawkins. One of the remarkable things about this location is how little the production team needed to change. Aside from replacing the dining table where Claire and the Duke were seated, the room itself required very little additional dressing for filming. When you visit today, the kitchen feels wonderfully atmospheric. The great fireplace is often lit, the wall sconces glow warmly, and the room carries the same sense of history seen in the series, and you'll be in rather distinguished company. Over the centuries, Callendar House has welcomed notable figures, including Mary Queen of Scots and Oliver Cromwell, each leaving their own mark on the history of this remarkable place. It's here in this very room that Murtagh finally confronts the Duke of Sandringham, declaring the powerful line, "I kept my word, I lay vengeance at your feet." Our journey now brings us to Linlithgow Palace, a magnificent royal residence that once served as a retreat for the kings and queens of Scotland. In Outlander, parts of the palace were used to portray the notorious Wentworth prison. Interior scenes were filmed inside the palace, and the entrance you see here was used for close-up shots as characters approached the prison gates. For the wider exterior views of Wentworth, the production instead used Bamburgh Castle in northern England. Even so, standing here at this entrance, it's easy to imagine the tense moments that unfolded in this pivotal chapter of the story. During filming of this video, Linlithgow Palace, along with several other historic castles, were undergoing renovation, which limited how much of the interiors we can show. The entrance scene here also appears in close-up shots as Claire and Murtagh arrive at the prison. This location represents one of the darkest chapters in the Outlander story. Within these walls, Jamie Fraser is brutally imprisoned by Black Jack Randall. Even if the interior isn't open during your visit, the palace grounds are well worth exploring. Set beside Linlithgow Loch, the sweeping views of the ruins and surrounding landscape make this one of the most picturesque historic sites in Scotland. Linlithgow Palace was once one of the principal residences of Scotland's royal family, with parts of the structure dating back to the 15th century. It was here that Mary Queen of Scots was born in 1542. The exterior of Wentworth Prison was filmed at Bamburgh Castle, a dramatic fortress along the coast of northern England, not Scotland. It's about an hour and 23 minutes from Edinburgh. While the close-up shots of Wentworth Prison's entrance were filmed at Linlithgow Palace in Scotland, the distant exterior views were filmed here at Bamburgh Castle in England. Bamburgh Castle rises dramatically above the North Sea on a rocky outcrop along the coast of Northumberland, and the site has been fortified for more than 1,000 years. The earliest stronghold here dates back to the 6th century, when it served as a royal seat of the Anglo-Saxon kings of Northumbria. Over the centuries, the castle played an important role in defending northern England and saw numerous battles and sieges before falling into ruin. The impressive structure we see today was largely restored during the 19th century by the Victorian industrialist William Armstrong, who transformed the fortress into the magnificent castle that now dominates this stretch of coastline. Its striking appearance has made Bamburgh a popular filming location as well. In addition to Outlander, the castle has appeared in productions such as The Last Kingdom, Indiana Jones, and The Dial of Destiny, Macbeth, and several historical documentaries. Even without the connection to Wentworth Prison, Bamburgh Castle is well worth visiting for its remarkable history and breathtaking coastal views. In Outlander, Dunure Castle represents Silky's Island. Despite the name, this dramatic ruin isn't on an island at all, but sits along the rugged coastline of Dunure. And there's a bit of movie magic here as well. For the series, the image of Dunure Castle was actually reversed on screen. This is how the castle truly appears. Dunure Castle dates back to the 15th century and once served as a stronghold of the powerful Kennedy family along Scotland's southwest coast. Perched above the Firth of Clyde near the small harbour village of Dunure, the castle sits only about an hour's drive from Glasgow, making it an easy stop for visitors exploring this part of Scotland. You may recognise the interior of the castle from the scene where Jamie swims to Silky's Island, searching for the hidden treasure. Here, we've even found the very spots where Jamie stood. Like many Outlander fans visiting Dunure Castle, Sean and his family couldn't resist searching the ruins for the hidden treasure Jamie discovers in the series. They did manage to find the very hole where the treasure once lay hidden. Unfortunately for them, Jamie had already beaten them to it, and the little chamber has instead become a rather comfortable home for a group of local pigeons. In the episode, Jamie notices the Mackenzie crest carved into the stone and realises the treasure is hidden within the wall. If you're hoping to search these ruins for Jamie's treasure yourself, Sean can help guide you here to Dunure and other Outlander filming locations across Scotland. Dunure Castle has stood in ruin for centuries, yet its dramatic setting above the rugged Ayrshire coastline remains breathtaking. With sweeping views across the Firth of Clyde, it's easy to see why this location was chosen for filming. Just below the castle lies another Outlander location, the small but historic harbour of Dunure, used in both seasons 3 and 4 of Outlander. In the scene shown here, from season 4, Bree and Roger depart from this harbour as they begin their journey across the Atlantic to the American colonies. One of the lovely things about Dunure Harbour is how quiet it often feels. You'll likely have the place mostly to yourself, and while you're here, be sure to stop by the Harbour View coffee shop for a coffee and a fresh scone. For the filming of Outlander, the production team transformed the area behind the harbour into a lively fishing village. Temporary wooden buildings, nets, crates and fishing gear were added to create the bustling waterfront seen in the series. Dunure Harbour has served local fishermen for centuries, with records of a working harbour here dating back to the early 17th century. The small stone quay you see today once supported a busy coastal fishing trade along the Firth of Clyde. In Outlander, this harbour becomes the setting where Claire and Jamie prepare to board the ship Artemis as they begin their long journey across the Atlantic toward Jamaica. Scenes like this are a reminder that following the Outlander trail often leads to remarkable places, quiet corners of Scotland many travellers might otherwise never discover. After exploring Dunure Harbour, Sean and his family continued their journey north toward Glasgow. Our journey next brings us to Pollock Country Park in Glasgow, one of the city's largest and most beautiful green spaces, over 368 acres in all. Many outdoor scenes for Outlander were filmed throughout these woodlands and open fields. Although the historic Pollock House sits within the park, it was not used as a major filming location in the series. Instead, the surrounding landscape provided the natural backdrop for several scenes, just like this one with Jamie and Fergus riding horseback near the waterfall and carriage house. One memorable scene filmed here shows Claire racing across this bridge by carriage, desperately trying to reach Jamie before his duel with Black Jack Randall. At the time, Claire was also pregnant, adding even greater urgency to her journey. Several memorable outdoor scenes from Outlander were filmed here in Pollock Country Park. In addition to Claire's carriage race to stop Jamie's duel with Black Jack Randall, the park's woodlands and historic gardens, originally laid out as part of the Pollock estate in the 18th century, appear as the countryside outside Paris during season 2. Today, Pollock House also hosts weddings and special events, and visitors can stop inside for a coffee at the welcoming cafe. Our journey now brings us to the vibrant city of Glasgow, Scotland's largest city, and a place known for its rich history, striking Victorian architecture and lively cultural scene. Glasgow has also become a favourite location for film and television productions. In addition to scenes from Outlander, parts of the city have appeared in major productions such as The Batman and the most recent Indiana Jones film. With its dramatic architecture and historic streets, it's easy to see why filmmakers are drawn here. Coincidentally, there's a department store here called Fraser's. When Sean's family was in Glasgow, they were filming the Batgirl movie, which was never released. The architecture is perfect for Gotham City. Our next stop in Glasgow is 124 Darwin Street, which appeared in Outlander as Fury Street in Boston. This is where Claire, Frank and Brianna lived after returning from the past. Set designers carefully transformed the street to resemble post-war America, and if you'd like to visit, Google Maps will lead you right here. When Sean and his family visited in March, the trees were bare and the street was lined with parked cars, making it difficult to capture good footage. One can only imagine how challenging parking must have been for the residents when the production crew arrived to film here. From the quiet residential streets of Glasgow, our journey now brings us to one of the city's most impressive landmarks, the Grand Glasgow City Chambers. The city chambers are located off George Square in the heart of Glasgow. In the Outlander episode, The Wedding, this location appears as the exterior of the City of Westminster's Register office in London, where Frank Randall proposes to Claire. If you look closely for the number 45 on the wall on John Street, you'll find the exact spot where Frank proposed to Claire. While you're here, take time to explore George Square, the historic square in Glasgow, surrounded by impressive architecture and statues celebrating many of Scotland's most notable figures. Glasgow Cathedral is one of the finest medieval buildings in Scotland, with parts of the structure dating back to the 12th century. Built on the site associated with St Mungo, the cathedral has stood at the heart of the city for hundreds of years. In Outlander, the cathedral's lower crypt was used as the hospital run by Mother Hildegard in Paris. During Sean's visit, the family unfortunately missed the opportunity to see the crypt, as entry is controlled by timed tickets. If you plan to visit, it's wise to reserve your time in advance. Our journey now takes us to the filming location of the big house seen in seasons 5 through 7 of Outlander, representing Fraser's Ridge in North Carolina. All exterior scenes of the house were filmed here, while the interior rooms viewers see in the series were recreated on sound stages. Sean managed to locate this filming site using Google Maps and travelled here with his family to see it for themselves. At the time of their visit, this was before the dramatic burning of the big house in the series, so they were able to catch a glimpse of both the house and the nearby barn from a distance. Even then, the production had the area carefully secured with round-the-clock security watching over the set. Today, there would be little reason to visit, as the structures used for filming have since been removed and the location returned to its original landscape. Sean was able to capture a slightly better view of the barn used in the series from this location. It's hard to believe, but a major road runs not far from here. Even so, the surrounding trees and rolling landscape hide it remarkably well, leaving the setting peaceful and surprisingly beautiful. At the time of their visit, the production had the entire area secured with fencing around the outer perimeter, along with additional secondary fencing surrounding both the house and the barn. Not far from the location of the big house is the site used as Thomas Christie's church, which appears as part of Fraser's Ridge in the series. Sean chose not to attempt visiting the exact location as it sits on private land. However, we were able to determine exactly where it was filmed. There's also some speculation that the new big house seen in season 8 may be located somewhere in the same general area, though that hasn't been confirmed. Our journey now takes us north into the Scottish Highlands toward the city of Inverness, where we stop at one of the most dramatic historic sites in Scotland, Urquhart Castle, perched along the shores of Loch Ness. Although the castle itself was not used as a filming location in the television series, fans of the Outlander books will recognise it as the place where Claire and Frank visit during their second honeymoon. The history of Urquhart Castle stretches back nearly 1,000 years. The site was occupied as early as the 13th century and played an important role during the Wars of Scottish Independence. Over the centuries, it changed hands many times before eventually being partially destroyed in the late 17th century to prevent it from falling into enemy control. Today, the ruins stand as one of Scotland's most iconic castles, offering breathtaking views across the waters of Loch Ness and the surrounding Highland landscape. Our journey now brings us to Culloden Battlefield, one of the most historic and emotional places in the Scottish Highlands. It was here, in 1746, that the final battle of the Jacobite Rising changed the course of Scottish history. Culloden Battlefield is the site of the final battle of the Jacobite Rising of 1745. On April 16th, 1746, the forces of Prince Charles Edward Stuart, often called Bonnie Prince Charlie, faced the British government army led by the Duke of Cumberland. The battle lasted less than an hour. More than 1,500 Jacobite soldiers were killed or wounded, while government forces suffered roughly 300 casualties. The defeat ended the Jacobite cause and marked a turning point that dramatically changed life in the Scottish Highlands forever. Although the dramatic battle scenes from Outlander were filmed elsewhere, this is the real Culloden Battlefield, where Claire visits the memorial many years later. Across the field you'll see simple stones marking where the fallen Highland clans were buried, each engraved with the name of a clan. Since the series became popular, one stone in particular, the Fraser clan stone, receives so many visitors that it has now been fenced off to help preserve the site. Standing at the centre of the battlefield is the Culloden Memorial Cairn, a tall stone monument built in 1881 to honour those who fought and died here. Around it lie the clan grave markers, each remembering the Highland warriors who fell during the final battle of the Jacobite Rising. When the battle was fought in 1746, much of this field was far wetter and boggier than it appears today, slowing the Highland charge. The coloured flags across the battlefield mark the opposing lines, blue for the Jacobite clans and red for the British government army. Our next stop brings us to Clava Cairns, an ancient site just outside Inverness that many Outlander fans believe helped inspire the standing stones of Craignadoon. While the stones seen in the television series are fictional, it is widely believed that author Diana Gabaldon drew inspiration from places like this when imagining the mysterious circle that sends Claire through time. Clava Cairns dates back more than 4,000 years to the Bronze Age and consists of a complex of burial cairns and standing stones arranged in carefully aligned circles. Archaeologists believe these structures were used for ceremonial or burial purposes, and their alignment with the winter solstice suggests they may also have held astronomical significance for the people who built them. Tourists flock here to get images of them touching the standing stones. Our next stop brings us to Tivermore Church, a quiet historic church just outside the city of Perth. In Outlander, this location became the courtroom for one of the most dramatic moments in the series, the witch trial of Claire and Gaelis in the episode The Devil's Mark. Much of that unforgettable episode was filmed right here inside these walls. Sean and his family entered Tivermore Church through the very same doorway that Claire and Gaelis passed through on their way to the witch trial in The Devil's Mark. Interestingly, this location sits more than 60 miles from Culross, which served as the village of Cranesmuir in the series. Aside from the wooden backdrop placed behind Claire and Gaelis during the trial, very little inside the church was changed for filming. Here, Sean's wife and daughter stand in the very spot where Claire and Gaelis faced their trial. Let's just hope the verdict today is a bit kinder. It's also down these very stairs that Father Bain descends during the trial, arriving to deliver testimony against Claire and Gaelis in one of the episode's most tense moments. Today, Tivermore Church is no longer used for regular worship, but it remains a well-preserved historic building and a reminder of the village's long history dating back several centuries. Our journey next brings us to Dysart Harbour along Scotland's east coast. In Outlander, this quiet harbour was transformed into the French port of Le Havre. Through the use of clever set design and CGI, the rocky seawall you see here was digitally altered to appear as a busy French city rising behind the harbour, creating the illusion of 18th century France. Dysart Harbour has served the town for centuries, with the present harbour largely developed during the 18th century. It was once an important port for the coal trade, shipping coal from nearby mines across the North Sea to markets in Europe. They altered the building with the red roof with CGI to match the rest of the scenes in this harbour. Most of the Outlander scenes filmed here actually took place at the back of Dysart Harbour, where the production transformed the waterfront to resemble the busy port of Le Havre. The harbour is only about 43 minutes from Edinburgh. From this vantage point, we can see a view similar to the scene where the infected ship is burned in the harbour to stop the spread of smallpox. Following the Outlander trail brought Sean and his family to the beautiful coastal town of Dysart, a place they likely would have passed by if not for the series. Dysart's history stretches back to medieval times, and its small harbour, stone buildings, and dramatic coastline along the Fife shore make it one of the most charming seaside villages in this part of Scotland. Our journey now takes us to the location associated with Craignadoon. While standing stones like these can be found across Scotland, the stone circle seen in the series was actually created by the production team. The real filming location, however, does exist. Sean and his family travelled by car to Kinlochrannoch to see the hill where the stones once stood. With a little help from Google Maps and some careful research, Sean was able to track down the hillside where the famous standing stones once stood for filming. Behind the scenes, the production built the Craignadoon Circle using large foam and fiberglass props designed to resemble ancient stone. After filming was complete, the entire set was removed, leaving only the quiet highland landscape behind. They were brought back for several different episodes. Today, the site is simply a gated sheepfield, but fans of Outlander will still recognise the landscape where Claire's remarkable journey first began. Our journey now brings us to Blackness Castle, a formidable fortress sitting on the shores of the Firth of Forth. In Outlander, this castle serves as the headquarters of Fort William, where the feared Captain Jonathan Blackjack Randall commands the British garrison. Blackness Castle is also the setting for one of the most difficult scenes in Outlander, the brutal flogging of Jamie Fraser by Blackjack Randall. To transform the fortress into Fort William, the production team carefully covered modern signage with foam rubber moulded to match the stone walls. Railings throughout the courtyard were also clad in wood, a process that took weeks of preparation before filming could begin. Built in the 15th century, Blackness Castle once guarded the Firth of Forth and served as a royal fortress and later a military garrison. Because of its unusual shape projecting into the Firth of Forth, Blackness Castle is often called the ship that never sailed. Our journey now brings us to Doune Castle, one of the most recognisable filming locations in Outlander. In the series, this impressive medieval fortress stands in for Castle Leoch, the seat of Clan Mackenzie, where Claire first meets Colin Mackenzie and becomes entangled in Highland politics. Built in the late 14th century by Robert Stewart, Duke of Albany, Doune Castle remains one of the best preserved medieval castles in Scotland. While the castle's courtyard and exterior walls appear throughout the early episodes, most interior scenes were recreated later on sound stages. To recreate the look of an 18th century courtyard, the production team brought in tons of soil to cover the ground inside the courtyard of Doune Castle. Throughout its long history, Doune Castle has served many purposes, including a royal residence and later a prison during the Jacobite uprisings. Its remarkably preserved Great Hall and towering gatehouse still give visitors a strong sense of Scotland's medieval past. Our next stop brings us to the charming village of Falkland in the Kingdom of Fife. In Outlander, this picturesque town was transformed into 1940s Inverness during the opening episode of the series. Falkland's historic streets, stone buildings and quiet village square provided the perfect setting for Claire and Frank's stay in the Highlands. The Covenantor Hotel, located right on the square, appears in the series as Mrs. Baird's bed and breakfast, where Claire and Frank stayed during their second honeymoon. Walking through Falkland today, it's remarkably easy to recognise many of the locations seen in those early scenes that first introduced viewers to the world of Outlander. Much of the filming connected to Mrs. Baird's bed and breakfast took place right here at the Covenantor Hotel. The exterior of the building appears throughout the opening episode as Claire and Frank settle into the Highland stay. One thing that may surprise fans, however, is that the bedroom scene in the series was not filmed inside the hotel. Frank and Claire's room was actually recreated on a soundstage, so the real guest rooms here look quite different from what appears on screen. Inside, the hotel has a cosy bar and lounge that feels wonderfully traditional. It is a great place to relax and unwind after a long day on the Outlander trail. And if you happen to stay here yourself, the breakfasts are said to be excellent. While the room Claire and Frank stayed in didn't exist, the window Claire could be seen brushing her hair does. Unfortunately, Sean's family was unable to book that room. Here is Sean's wife and daughter, hanging out at the fountain where Jamie's ghost appeared. Our next stop brings us to Craigmillar Castle, a striking medieval fortress located just a few miles outside the city of Edinburgh. In Outlander, this castle was used to portray Ardsmuir Prison, where Jamie Fraser is held after the Battle of Culloden. It is here that Jamie becomes a leader among the captured Jacobite prisoners and forms an unlikely friendship with the young British officer Lord John Grey. Craigmillar Castle itself dates back to the late 14th century and was once home to powerful Scottish noble families. It is also closely associated with Mary, Queen of Scots, who stayed here in 1566 following the murder of her secretary, David Rizzio. With its massive tower house, thick stone walls and enclosed courtyard, Craigmillar provided the perfect setting to represent the grim prison where many Jacobite survivors were confined. Today, visitors can explore the ruins and climb the towers, enjoying sweeping views across Edinburgh and imagining the dramatic moments brought to life here in the series. One of the most memorable scenes filmed here takes place in the courtyard of Craigmillar Castle. In this pivotal moment, Jamie Fraser suddenly grabs Lord John Grey and holds a sword across his neck, warning him not to interfere with the Jacobite prisoners under his protection. The tension of the scene highlights the complicated relationship between the two men, built on both mistrust and reluctant respect. What makes visiting Craigmillar Castle so special is that fans can still stand in the very spot where this moment was filmed and easily recognise the exact location from the episode. Our journey now brings us to Hopetoun House, one of Scotland's grandest stately homes, located just outside Edinburgh along the southern shores of the Firth of Forth. In Outlander, Hopetoun House served as the filming location for several important settings throughout the series. The elegant interiors were used as the home of the Duke of Sandringham, where many memorable and often tense encounters took place. The house also appeared as the English estate of Hellwater, also known as Ellesmere, where Jamie Fraser was sent after his imprisonment at Ardsmuir. Beyond England, the exterior grounds of Hopetoun House were also used to represent locations in 18th century Paris during Season 2. The history of Hopetoun House itself dates back to the late 17th century. The estate was designed in part by the renowned Scottish architect Sir William Bruce, and later expanded by the famous architect William Adam. It became the seat of the powerful Hope family, whose descendants still maintain the estate today. With its magnificent architecture, sweeping landscapes and beautifully preserved interiors, Hopetoun House has become one of the most recognisable and frequently used filming locations in Outlander, standing in for several grand estates across Britain and Europe. One memorable scene filmed here is the tense duel between Jamie Fraser and the Duke of Sandringham's rival, set against the elegant grounds of Hopetoun House. It's also here on the grounds of Hopetoun House William and his mother, Geneva Dunsany, are introduced to the series during Jamie's time serving at the Hellwater estate. Our next stop brings us to Midhope Castle, a modest but deeply meaningful location for fans of Outlander. In the series, this small tower house represents Lallybroch, the ancestral home of Jamie Fraser and one of the most beloved places in the entire story. Although it appears as a warm family estate in the show, the real Midhope Castle is a simple 16th century tower house built around the year 1580 by the Drummond family. Later, it became associated with the Hope family of nearby Hopetoun House, whose estate still surrounds the castle today. In Outlander, the exterior of Midhope Castle was carefully dressed to create the appearance of Lallybroch. Window frames, horse stall and other details were temporarily added by the production team to give the building the character fans recognise on screen. After filming concluded, these additions were removed, leaving the castle much closer to its original historic appearance. Today, visitors can walk right up to the front steps of Lallybroch and stand in the exact spot where many memorable moments in the series took place. It's important to note, however, that Midhope Castle sits within the Hopetoun estate and requires a separate ticket to visit. For many Outlander fans, this quiet courtyard is one of the most emotional stops on the entire filming location's journey. That brings us to the end of our journey across Scotland, visiting many of the remarkable locations that helped bring the story of Outlander to life. I hope you've enjoyed exploring these historic places and learning a little about the history behind the scenes. My sincere thanks to Sean for allowing me to join you on this tour and for sharing his passion for Scotland and the world of Outlander. If you don't mind, I know Sean would appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe to Sean's channel Photasma. He and I put a lot of work into this and it will certainly help. And now I'll hand things back to Sean, who can tell you how he can help you plan your own custom journey through Scotland, perhaps even your very own Outlander trail.
Thanks so much, Duncan. I really appreciate you joining us and sharing your voice and your love of Scotland with everyone watching today. If visiting these locations has inspired you to see Scotland for yourself, that's exactly why I created Photasma Travel. Whether you're looking for a simple itinerary that helps you follow the Outlander Trail, or a fully customized journey through Scotland with castles, historic villages, and filming locations, I'd be honored to help you plan it. Some travelers just want to visit a few key Outlander locations, while others want to build a once-in-a-lifetime trip that explores the Highlands, historic cities, and the incredible landscapes that make Scotland so special. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, you can learn more at photasma.com. From simple travel guidance to fully customized trips, Photasma Travel is all about creating memories through travel. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this video inspires your own journey through Scotland.